Welcome back, dear students of class 8. Today we are going to study the part 2 of the chapter 8, networks. Students, in this part we will be talking about advantages of networking, and we will discuss what are different networking medias. And in that we are going to talk about the wired networking technology. After this, we'll talk about the wireless networking technology in the next lecture. So let us quickly begin with it. Now, students, in the previous part, you had studied the basics of network, what a computer network is, okay, and then you studied the parts or the components of a computer network. The important parts of a computing network were the message, the sender, okay, the receiver, the transmission medium. Now it is pretty clear what a message is, a sender is, and a receiver is. Okay, but what is transmission medium? We are going to discuss this transmission medium in today's lecture. Okay, and then in the upcoming lecture, we will be talking about different networking protocols. Okay, so let us quickly begin with what is transmission medium and what are the different types of transmission medium that are being used. Now, students, first let's talk about the advantages of networking. Okay, networking in computers brings efficiency. Okay, it makes the communication more efficient, more economic. That means saves money. Okay, and time also, and brings a lot of effectiveness in your organization. Okay, students, the first advantage is efficient use of the storage media. What is storage media? Devices which are used to store data. Okay, so when we use networking, okay, it is, it becomes easy to store your data. It is better to store a shareable on the application on the network than to store a copy of the application on each user's storage device. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is that students, if there are many computers in your network, okay, suppose this is computer 1, this is computer 2, and then so on, you have many computers in your networks which are connected to each other. So if you want to store a particular application, okay, on all the computers, okay, if you want to use a particular application or a software on all of these computers, what you can do, you can store the application on only one computer and then share it across the other computers. This will save your storage space on the other computers. Okay, students? So this is the meaning of this particular point. It is better to have one big hard disk in the server. Okay, so you can keep a server computer. Okay, and then in that server computer you can keep all your storage data, all your applications and data. Okay, and then uh, you can share that data across other computers which are connected to your network. Moving on to the next point. Next point is preserving information. Okay, preserving information means what? Keeping your information safe at a particular place so that if anything happens to a computer, okay, at any time, at least your information will be safe and then you can retrieve or get that information back. Okay, which is called as backup. Okay, backing up of your information is called as preserving of information. So it is difficult to maintain regular backups on a number of standalone computers. That means if you have a network of computers, then it becomes really difficult to keep a backup of all the data which is present on the different computers. Okay, so what can you do? You can keep backups on a central location. Keeping backup of all the computers in a network on that particular computer. Okay, suppose I keep the backup of this computer on this, the backup of this computer on this, and backup of this computer on this. Okay, if that is done, that will create a lot of confusion. To avoid confusion, what can we do? We can keep all the backups of all the computers of which are connected in the network in a central location. Okay, in that case, if something happens to a particular computer in the network, if suppose this computer is not working, okay, then all the data is kept in the central location and we have to look for that particular data in this central location only. So it helps us. Moving on to the next point. The next point is reduction in hardware cost. Okay, reduction in hardware cost. In a network, the hardware devices that are not used oftenly, okay, like modems, printers, scanners, CD writers, can be shared. We talked about the different peripheral devices. Now, these are the peripheral devices that can be shared. So, instead of having every computer connected with a printer, okay, if this is a printer, okay, and if you are using 100 computers, you don't need 100 printers. Okay, what can you do? You can connect this single printer to you can connect these computers to each other and then connect the printer to any one of the computer, and then this uh, printer will be shared among those computers. Okay, so that will require less number of printers. Okay, so in by sharing of hardware we can reduce the hardware cost. Moving on to the next point, efficiency. Oh, sorry, the next point is efficiency. uh, so let me just tell you about the next point, which is your efficiency. Students, in a network, the deletion or modification or upgrading of a software or a data is to be done at the single point only. So you people use a lot of applications in your mobile phones and in your computers, right? You might have seen that every other day there is an update in a particular application. Okay, or if you want to delete or modify some software, okay, what you can do, if you are using network, all the software is stored at a particular location, right, in a central location on the server computer. So you can just update it on the server computer. Okay, in that way you don't have to uh, update it on all the computers. Okay, just update it on the server and then your job is done. Moving on to the next point, redundancy. Okay, redundancy simply means keeping a copy of the same data. Okay, suppose if you have two computer books, okay, you have the computer books, right? If you have two computer books of the same class, class 8, okay, written by the same author, then you have a redundant copy, an extra copy which you don't need. Okay, in the same manner, in our computer, many a times, or in our mobile phones, what happens many a times we keep the same copy of the data. Okay, so that increases the redundancies. Okay, and that reduces the amount of usable memory in your computer. So what you can do is, a network reduces the need for hard copies of all the documents. So you can just keep the soft copy, and by sharing the soft copy of a file over the network, the need to share paper copies of the reports or any other information can be eliminated or greatly reduced. Okay, so what we can do, we can just share the soft copies, and the you know you can save a lot of paper, and you can also save lot of redundancies. Keeping a copy of the same data again and again, you can avoid that. Okay, you can just keep a single copy, and the other copy can be a soft copy. Okay, moving on to the next point, quickest document delivery. Quickest document delivery means what? If you want to send a document to someone, if you want to send a letter, okay, suppose if you want to send a letter uh, of leave to the principal of your school, okay, so there are many ways. You can go to the post office and post your letter. Yes, that is going to take a lot of time, at least 3 days, okay, 2 or 3 days if you go to the post office and uh, post your letter in the post office. Alternatively, what you can do, you can send an email. Yes, you can send an email letter to your principal. How much time that is going to take? That is going to take hardly a matter of seconds. Yes, so it is going to save time and the document delivery will be the quickest. So the networking, who provides us with the facility of quickest document delivery, the networking makes it possible because your computer and your principal's computer are connected to the internet, and internet is nothing but a network of computers around the world. Okay, so networking provides us the facility to instantly deliver soft copies from one computer to other computer throughout the world. Okay, students. So these are certain advantages of your networks. Okay, students. There are many other advantages, but right now we have to deal with only these few. Moving on to the next topic. The next topic is networking media. Okay, this networking media simply means the transmission medium that is a very important part of a computer network. What is transmission medium? Let us quickly revise. Transmission medium or networking media. It is the physical path through which this message is going to travel from one computer to another. In this case, there is, you can see this blue wire that is connecting this computer to this computer. Okay, and this is the physical path. This is the physical path from which the message is going to travel from one computer to the another computer. Okay, so the physical path through which the message travels from the sender to the receiver is called as the transmission medium or networking media. Okay. Now, there are two types of networking media. Okay. Data can be transmitted from one location or from one computer to another by using wires or without the use of wires. When we use wires, it is called wired networking mediums or wired networking technology. When we don't use wires, then it is called as wireless networking technology. Okay. So let's today talk about this wired networking technology. Okay, the first type of wired networking technology is the Ethernet cables. Okay, students, it's the Ethernet cable. So, what is an Ethernet cable? An Ethernet cable is one of the most popular form of network cable used in the wired networks. Okay, it is very popularly used. You can see this figure. This is this blue colored cable over here. This is a Ethernet cable. Now, this cable, it resembles the phone cable. Okay, earlier you used to have this uh, wired phones. Okay, and those phones were connected with the telephone cable wires. Okay, this resembles that cable only, but this cable, this Ethernet cable, is larger than the phone cable, and it has 8 wires. In this diagram, you can clearly see. Okay, there are 8 wires. Okay, see, actually you can see only four. One, two, three, four, but they are a pair of wires. See, there are 2 wires in this, orange and orange white. Okay, again there are 2 wires over here, green and green white. Again there are 2 wires over here, brown and brown white, and 2 wires, blue and blue white. So these 4 pairs of wire makes them the 8 wires. Okay, students. So how many wires are there in the Ethernet cable? 8 wires. They are of different colors. Okay, blue, blue, white, brown, brown and brown white, green and green white, orange and orange white. So there are 8 pairs of, 4 pairs of wires, but total there are 8 wires. Okay, students, remember this. And each wire has a different color code. Now, Ethernet cables connect various devices such as PCs. Okay, so these Ethernet cables are used to connect your computers, routers, switches within the local area network. Okay, so in your network, the Ethernet cables are used to connect different computers. Now, The advantage of the Ethernet cables is that they consume very less power. Okay, so if you use them, your electricity is going to be saved. But there is a drawback also. What is the drawback with these cables? Is that the computer requires an Ethernet adapter. Okay, Ethernet adapter card on the motherboard to connect the Ethernet cable. So this is that Ethernet adapter card. Now, you have already studied about this Ethernet adapter card in your class 7 in your chapter 1 hardware. Okay, hardware components of a computer. Okay, it was called as network interface card, NIC card. Okay, so now this is connected to your motherboard. Okay, this is the portion that goes into the motherboard. Okay, into the slot of the motherboard, and then this part hangs out, and this is the part where this Ethernet cables RJ45 connector, this connector is called as the RJ45 connector. This connector goes inside this, and when you connect this from this and in on the other end you connect to the another computer, then both your computers will be connected to each other. Okay, so if you want to use this Ethernet cable, you will have to have Ethernet adapter card or network card on your computer. This card is also called as the network card. Okay, students, moving on. These cables also have limitations in both the distance that they can stretch and still carry proper signal and durability. So as you know, these are cables and or these are the wires which are through which the data is going to be transmitted. So what happens over over longer distances, what happens to the data? The certain noise comes to the data or the signal gets disturbed. Okay, so the longer the distance, the efficiency of this wire gets reduced. Okay, so you have to connect some signal amplifying devices to this wires in that case. Okay, so uh, these are the two disadvantages of the Ethernet cable. Okay, what is the first disadvantage? It requires an network interface card or Ethernet adapter card. And second, okay, as the distance increases, okay, uh, it is really impossible to, take it to very long distances, okay, without use of amplifying devices. And uh, uh, as the distance increases, the signal carrying capacity also decreases. Okay, students. Now, there are two types of Ethernet cables. First one is the crossover cable. Okay, now I'll explain you what the crossover cable is. It is basically designed for connecting two computers without a hub or a router. Okay, so let me first explain you what is straight through. Okay, then there is the second type which is called as the straight through cable. This type of cable has got its both ends identical to each other. Okay, it is used to connect a computer to a router or a switch. Okay, so you can immediately notice that the first difference is that this crossover cable is used to connect the same type of devices. That means connecting a computer to a computer. See, it is basically used for connecting two computers, okay, without a hub or a router. But in networking, we call this that crossover cable is used to connect two same type of devices. That means if you want to connect a computer to a computer, okay, directly, then you can use the crossover cable. Okay, but the straight through cable, okay, what is it? It is used to connect a computer to a router or a switch, and then from that router to a switch, you can connect the other computer. Okay, so this is the difference between them. Now see over here, I have shown you the diagrams of a crossover cable and a straight through cable. So first, let me tell you about the straight through cable. As you can see inside the straight through cable, so now this is the connector, this white color. Okay, this is the Ethernet cable, this blue colored Ethernet cable. Inside it, there are 8 wires, orange or orange, white, orange, then green, blue, blue, white, then this green, then brown, white, and brown. Okay. These are the 8 wires inside that, and these are the 8 pins. So see, this is the pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in a straight through cable, okay, see this is the one first end of the wire and this is the another end of the wire. You can see in both the ends, you can clearly see over here that in both the ends, the the coding of the wire is same. That means what, the orange white wire is on the pin number 1. Same is the case with this. The orange white wire is on pin 1 only. Then the orange wire is on pin number 2. Again the orange wire is. That means all the wires in both the ends, okay, on both the ends of a wire, the uh, wires are connected in the same manner. Okay, students? But on the other hand, if you come to the crossover cable, you can clearly notice that on one side the connection is different and on the other side, other end of the wire, the connection is different. See, on pin 1, orange white, then over here on pin 1, we are getting what? Green white and green. And okay, so this type of cable, because it is crossing, okay, because it is crossing, it is called as the crossover cable. Okay, now this type of cable, again crossover cable, is used to connect two same type of devices. That means to connect a computer to a computer without any hub or a router, you can use the crossover cable. Okay, and then there is straight through cable which has got its both ends identical to each other and it is used to connect a computer to a router or a switch. So this was the Ethernet cables. The next is your coaxial cable. The next is your coaxial cable. Let's talk about coaxial cable. Coaxial cable is used in transmission of video, communications and audio. Okay, so if you want to send video, okay, communication signals or audio signals, okay, you can use a coaxial cable. It is mainly used by the cable television industry. So many of you might have connected cable service to your televisions. Okay, so this coaxial cable is used by the television industry. Okay, or the cable television industry to connect your TV to the cable TV service. Okay, students. Now, however, this cable can also be used in networks. Okay, this cable can also be used in networks and it has a high bandwidth and greater transmission capacity. Now, what is the meaning of bandwidth? The meaning of bandwidth is the maximum rate of data transfer across a given path. Okay, so what is the simple meaning of bandwidth? The amount of data that can travel on a single path. Okay, if the amount of data that can travel is larger, then it has a high bandwidth. So this coaxial cable has a very high bandwidth and it also has a greater transmission capacity. A coaxial cable consists of the central copper wire. So see, if you can see over here, this is the central copper wire. A better uh, picture is this one. See, it consists of this central copper wire. Okay, in the center there is a copper wire which is surrounded by insulation. So this is the insulation which surrounds the central copper wire. After this insulation, there is a shield of braided wire. So this is the shield of braided wire, or it is also called as copper mesh. Okay, and then this shield again has a insulation on the top. So this is how your uh, this is the design of your coaxial cable. Now, coaxial cable is relatively inexpensive. Okay, it is cheaper than your Ethernet cables and can transmit our data at higher rates. Okay, this is the advantage. But okay, also it provides better immunity against the electromagnetic disturbance. That means sending signal over the you know uh, large large distances, okay, it can cause electromagnetic disturbance. Okay, because see, your signals are nothing but electromagnetic waves which can collide with each other and cause electromagnetic disturbance. So it provides a better immunity against the electromagnetic disturbance. Why? Because it has this copper mesh. Okay, it has double layer of shielding. Okay, there is a shield over here, insulation over here, then it has a this copper shield, or you can call it as a copper mesh. Okay, or a braided shield. This protects against the electromagnetic disturbance. The only disadvantage associated with the coaxial cable is its high installation. So for preparing this, it doesn't take a lot of money, but for installation of this wires, it takes a lot of time and money. Okay, and also you have to maintain it over and over. Okay, so this was your coaxial cable. Now there are two main types of coaxial cable. The first one is the baseband coaxial cable. What is baseband coaxial cable? It supports quick transmission of single signal at a time. Okay, so if you want to send quick a signal very fast from one computer to the other, or from one place to another, okay, then you can use the baseband coaxial cable, but it will send only one signal at a time. Okay, and it is used for your local area networks. Then there is another type of coaxial cable which is called as broadband coaxial cable. Now, broadband coaxial cable transmits multiple signals. This one transmits only one signal, but this broadband transmits multiple signals at a time. Okay, and it is used for longer distances. The broadband coaxial cable is used for longer distances. So this was your coaxial cable. The next type of wired transmission media is the optical fiber cable. Okay, which is also known as fiber optic. Okay, fiber optic cable or optical fiber cable. Now students, this is a very important type of wired networking technology. Okay, this is the future of internet. Okay, we are using this right now also. Okay, but everywhere it is not being used. Okay, it would be very good if it would have been used everywhere. Now, uh, what is optical fiber cable? Okay, optical fiber cable, also known as fiber optic cable. So fiber optics is a popular technology that has larger capacity to transfer data at a very high speed. So with the help of optical fiber data, you can do both. You can send a lot of data and at a very high speed. Now see, in the name only, it is called as optical fiber or fiber optics. Now whenever you hear this word optics, this word optics is related to light. It is related to light. Okay. And you know that light, the speed of light is the fastest in this universe. Yes. What has the fastest speed? The speed of light. Okay, so in when you're using fiber optic technology, you are sending the data at very high speed. With which speed? With the speed of light. Okay, students. Now, a fiber optic cable consists of a central glass core. So, there is a central glass core. This is that central glass core. Okay, containing bundle of glass threads surrounded by several layers of protective materials. So, this contains what? A fiber optic cable contains what? A central glass core containing bundle of glass threads surrounded by several layers of protective material. So these are those small glass threads, and this is the protective material that surrounds them. The glass threads are capable of transmitting data converted into light signals. I told you now that the data is sent in form of light signals with the speed of light at extremely high speed. Extremely high speed, which speed? With the speed of light. Okay, which is the highest speed in the universe. Okay. Now, a fiber optic cable is highly resistant to signal interference. Again, so when you're sending the data with the speed of light, then there is a very less chance of signal interference. Also, it has a protective shield over here, which uh, does not allow to the signal interference. Now, and provides better data transmission by providing high bandwidth. Okay, so again, fiber optic cables are also going to provide you what? High bandwidth. What is bandwidth? Again, bandwidth is the maximum rate of data transfer across a given path. The maximum, how much amount of data is traveling across a given path inside these wires is called as bandwidth. Okay, so if a large amount of data is traveling, then we get a high bandwidth. If less amount of data is traveling, then we can say it has low bandwidth. Okay, presently a fiber optic cable is a popular technology for local area networks, but in future almost all the communications will employ fiber optics. Okay, so in future they are going to use this fiber optics everywhere. So this is a technology of the future, and it has its advantages also. However, it is very fragile. Now, what is the disadvantage? Everything that has advantage comes with a disadvantage also. What is the disadvantage? It is very fragile. Now, inside it is glass. This is made up of glass. So obviously, you know that glass is very fragile. So this can help you remember. There's a glass core, and you know that is what makes this very fragile. Okay, and the maintenance cost is also very high. Okay, so to maintain this fiber optic cable, it is very expensive. Why it is expensive? As you can see, in the coaxial cable we had a copper central copper wire, okay, which is very much stronger than the central you know glass core. Yes, obviously, which will be stronger, copper or glass? Obviously, copper will be stronger. So even if you uh, you know uh, apply a lot of pressure on the coaxial cable, it will still work. But if the glass core breaks because of a pressure, then that's why it is called as why it is fragile, and it also has a high maintenance cost. Now students, the data, one extra thing to know about over here is that the data inside the fiber optic cable, okay, inside the fiber optic cable, how does it travel? Okay, the light in the fiber optic cable travels through the core. So see, this is how the light is traveling. See, it's going from here to here. Okay, as soon as it reaches this point, it gets reflected and it comes over here. Okay, then again it gets reflected, then again, and this multiple reflections inside this glass core is called as total internal reflection, which is a very important point. You are going to study about this total internal reflection in your physics also. So if anybody asks you uh, what is the phenomena of light through which the signals are transmitted inside the optical fiber cable, then it is total internal reflection. Okay, the bouncing of light, multiple reflections of light through which the data travels is called as your total internal reflection. Okay students, now with this I will put an end to this lecture. In the next lecture we will talk about the wireless networking technology. Okay students, if you have any questions you can ask me. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself and